So in business, in commercial cleaning, especially when we're starting, we're looking to grow, right? We're looking to grow. We're looking to sustain the growth. And what that looks like a lot of the time is taking on everything, right? And through taking on everything, you find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then you kind of get away from, the things that don't work. I'll be upfront and I'll just say it straight up. Like, just because things work for me in my company or things don't work for me in my company, don't mean that they're going to work for you or not work for you, right? So I'm never going to tell people like, this is what you should do in terms of the types of clients you should get versus not do, right? Because our culture is our culture and your culture is your culture, right? So I'm never going to tell people that. But one thing that I will say, and this is universal, is that all money is not good money. And just because something looks good to you doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. The juice isn't always worth the squeeze when it comes to when it comes to certain accounts, okay? So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this, and I'm going to try my best not to make this thing longer than what it needs to be. And shout out to everybody who's been getting consultations, man. I've been crazy busy with consultations. Shout out to you. And if you've gotten a consultation and I promised you what I promised you, please believe I have not forgotten about you. And I definitely will be delivering on those promises here very, very, very soon. Also, the course is on its way. It's almost complete. It'll be dropping here really, really, really soon. And I'll let everyone know once that drops, right? But back to the story. So in 2020, we're in the middle of the pandemic. I get a call from the specific customer, specific prospect. And just a regular Tuesday, someone calls, they want us to come out and do a walkthrough to provide them with a proposal for service. No big deal. But we've never serviced this type of account before. And being that it is this type of account, I didn't want to delegate that task to anyone else on my team. I said, I want to go ahead and spearhead it and be at the front of this. So I went ahead and I did the walkthrough. Now, when I show up to the walkthrough, there's a couple of red flags, and I'm going to go over each one of these red flags and why we ultimately ended up walking away. But the first red flag I saw was the first person that I saw. And the first person I saw was a security guard. The security guard himself wasn't a red flag, but the security guard had a 9 on this hip, and he had a taser on this hip and a bulletproof vest. All of those things combined in one place that we're supposed to service in the middle of the night is a huge red flag for me. But we went ahead and continued. So I introduced myself, let him know who I was, and he went ahead, got on his walkie-talkie and called down the owner, the person who I was there to meet. Owner comes down, really cool lady, really high energy though. I remember that. She's real high energy, real cool. And she went ahead and started showing me around. So at this point, we're in the lobby, okay? Now, as she's showing me around, we go to where we go to see the things that the customers don't see. And when we get back there, I just see product everywhere. There's product like halfway on the shelves. There's product on the floor. There's product coming out of boxes. This is red flag number 2, because this is an inventory problem. And I don't want there to be the possibility of my staff coming to clean and anyone getting tempted or anyone saying that anyone took any of this product, right? This is red flag number 2. So we continue walking, we go up these stairs, and we get into this room. Now this room, this was probably, this was a huge gun safe. It was a gun safe, and through it was just money piled into this gun safe. But it was so much that it was falling out. And on the sides where it was falling out, you could see that whoever's job it was to put the money in the safe, they were like so proud of the job or so proud that they were able to get it. They took a lot of pride in it because there was stacks, like how you would see at a bank. It's stacks of money and it's neatly stacked in there. But I don't know what happened. Maybe that person quit. Maybe they got fired. Maybe who knows? Maybe they just got tired, and they got to the point where they just start taking the money and just pushing it in, and they're trying to like close the safe, or they got called off to go do something else because the safe door's open and there's money that's falling out of the safe. Aside from that, there's tables with paperwork and calculators and money, just is money everywhere, right? And this is red flag number 3, because this goes back to the whole temptation thing, right? Even if you're paying your cleaners top dollar, there's always a chance that people are going to get tempted by certain things, right? we want to be in a position where we minimize the risk. I don't want that to even be in a I don't want that to be a temptation at all. So before we even move forward, I let the owner know. I said, hey, listen, we're halfway through this walkthrough. But I'm going to tell you now, like before we even get to the point where we're exchanging information for me to send you this proposal, if we decide to move forward, we won't be entering this room. We won't be cleaning this room. She 100% agreed. I won't have you guys in this room. Right? So I said, okay, cool. So those are the 3 red flags. Just going on to continue with the rest of the story, we go to another room, and the room looked like the damn Pentagon. Like there's like this big wall, and it's a bunch of cameras and monitors. You can see everything in there. Like I didn't know that so many cameras was even in the store. There was so many cameras on this thing, so you could see everything that was there. So we exchanged business cards. In my mind, I kind of already knew what I was going to charge based on what it was that they needed. But I took the business card, went home, did the calculations, so on and so forth. But before I get out the building, my mind is working, right? I'm thinking, based on what I see here, and before, if you haven't figured it out by now, this place that I'm talking about, it is some marijuana dispensary, right? And here in my state, Washington State, is legal. I don't know, I know like California, Nevada, a couple other places. I think it's Colorado. I know, and it may be legal where you are. I'm not, I don't know for sure, but here it's legal in the state. So I'm looking at what, in my mind, the calculations that I put together just based on their needs and based on what it is that they want. And I'm looking at all of the other ones that are just on this street. I'd already calculated in my mind before I sent her this proposal that I could turn this into, this could easily, if I just niche down and really focus, I could make just that my niche, and it'll be $1 million business in a matter of no time. Because one, they have a problem with the cleaning, right? But two, security is also a big issue, right? So we wouldn't go there and add security, but we would put their security team at ease based on the security that I would add into the business, right? Not me being there, but systems that I would create. Before I got into the truck, I'd already kind of figured everything out. So I get home, I work up the proposal, and I send it over, right? I send the proposal over, and she accepted it. She accepted the proposal, no big deal. Like I knew we were going to get it just because they really, really do need it. So they accepted the proposal. Now the red flags are popping back up. So there's the guy at the door. He's needed for that type of business, but he's something that I want to stay away from in my business. I'm kind of ignoring these things because I'm looking at the money. And the product, right? There's a temptation. There's too much temptation. The product, the money, there's too much temptation. So we worked this account for maybe like 3 or 4 months. Now, mind you, like I never presented the plan that I had put together in my mind as far as adding the additional steps of security to make her staff feel at ease. I never presented those to her because I'm still going back and forth in my mind, ping-ponging this idea, or not this idea, but I can't just think about the money. I have to think about my staff safety. And if there's a security guard that's there, and he's there with a bulletproof vest, he got a taser and he got a 9, he's there for a reason, right? There's a lot of cash there. And so the security guard is there, he's there for a reason, right? I could never bring myself to really pushing that idea because one of the things that, I have to, it's not about money. Money can come. It's going to keep coming. I don't want to put people's lives at risk. He's there for a reason with all of this stuff. I don't want to put people's lives at risk. So we worked this account for we probably had this account for maybe like 4 months, 5 months. And it was always an issue with logistics because there's someone there and it was like, okay, well, we can't give you keys, completely understandable. But there's always has to be someone there and that someone always has to let you in. And it was just one of those things where it was just like, you know what, this is becoming a headache, right? Because we have to wait. Maybe they went on lunch. Maybe they did this, that. So like, or they hired someone new and they didn't know there was a cleaner. So now they have to call the owner. It was just too much. So I set up a meeting with the owner. We're about 4 or 5 months in, maybe 6 months in. I set up a meeting and I just let her know, like, listen, due to the industry that this is and my staff, they're coming in late. Like, I don't think this is going to be a good move for us. So we put in our notice. They accepted. Everything was cool. We ended everything on really good terms, and we dissolved the contract. So fast forward to today, right? The way that these companies are run is pretty much still the same. And if I'm a criminal and I'm looking for an opportunity to be able to get in here, and get what I'm after, there's only two things that I really need. I need enough desire and I need the opportunity. Now, the desire, you look at what's going on right now. The desire is, a lot of people are broke. A lot of people are not really having it like that. People are struggling to pay their bills, and milk is up and eggs is up and gas is up. People are struggling. So the desire is there. What is the weakest point? Where's the most opportunity? Where's the weakest point for anyone to be able to come in? It's going to be in the middle of the night. And it could be when, okay, the cleaners are here. We know that now our guard is down because they're here. Someone opens the door, my cleaners go in, and some people come in with foul intent right behind them, right? And now we got a bigger situation on our hands. So these are all things that I'm thinking about before we even quit. So we fast forward to today. Same exact dispensary that we were servicing in 2020 was just robbed not too long ago. Was robbed in the middle of the night. They didn't follow the cleaners in, but they made their way in. And the crazy thing is that the security guard wasn't in the building at the time. He was outside of the building. They didn't see him. So when they're exiting out, they get into an exchange, a fire exchange. And I would have been in a situation, because that's right around the time where my staff is coming. We'd have been in a situation where, I don't even want to think about that, because that's one of the things that I do think about is, when we got our people out in the middle of the night, a lot of things can happen, and I take steps, I take precautions. We do have a specific protocol for how you enter in a building, how you exit in a building. All of those things are in our SOPs. The SOPs that we use will be in the course as well. But these are one of the things that we think about, that I think about, that I have to put into practice. So the risk of something like that is so much higher in a business or in an industry such as the marijuana dispensary business versus a daycare. Like, no one's doing all that in a daycare, but just because there's not enough, there's nothing in there. What are you gonna get? Some mats, some squishy toys. There's nothing there. Versus in a dispensary, they got a lot of product, they got a lot of cash. There's a lot of things in there that would make anyone want to. Well, not anyone, but it'll make someone who's desperate enough to go ahead and take that chance. And a lot of people went ahead and took that chance, guys. So while you're on your quest, on your journey for growth, and you want to grow your business, and you want to do all these things, just be mindful of the type of accounts that you're taking in, because again, like, all money is not good money, guys. But with that said, spectators are only going to watch. Hustlers are going to get into the game so that they can win. Guys, I'm always dropping jewels. Just make sure you're in position to pick them up. You do that by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, my name is Marcus Crockett. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.